Okay, guys, welcome back to the Let's Get Freaky podcast. If you have had a paranormal experience that you would like to share on the show, please get in touch. Email let's get freaky podcast at mail.com, or you can reach us on social media: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, X, YouTube. There's so many ways you can reach us. Just get a hold of us and we'd love to talk to you. Okay, guys, got a very special guest tonight. We got Si Eades with us. How are you, my brother? Thank you so much for being here,
Yeah, I'm
man.
very good, and I thank you, for letting me come on the show because as a fan, I've been
Oh,
listening to you since like pretty much day one, and I listen to
oh
you when I'm
man.
working and stuff, so that's quite cool. Because I think I remember you doing it with your wife, the one
Yeah,
episode.
very
Yeah,
first episode. I only
yeah,
gave her
yeah,
one episode. Yeah.
yeah. And I just can't believe like how quick that time's gone.
I
Like
know.
just like I just listen to like certain episodes. I'll like scroll through and I love the Bigfoot stuff and all that sort of thing,
Oh,
uh,
thank you very much,
and
man.
and also stuff that's close to home as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We live in a strange place. The whole
Yeah,
world is strange, as we know.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But my wife did I think it was the first three episodes. I think. I'm
yeah,
pretty sure it was. Yeah, it was the first three episodes. And then she couldn't really commit to it like I can. So I
yeah,
kind of started doing it alone. And then I was like, no, this is my baby
yeah.
now.
Well, it's quite a skill, isn't it, as well? And it obviously, yeah, it takes up a lot of time as well.
It does. It does take up a lot, but I do love it, and I meet cool people like you, which is
Yeah,
the best thing about it. It really is, man.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So for anyone that doesn't know you, can you give us a little bit of information about yourself, where you're
Yeah,
from,
so
and all
I'm
stuff
from
like
like
that?
a place in Worcestershire. It's the Malvern Hills. So I was brought up in a small country rural area called Suckley. And yeah, I'm a gardener, I'm a landscaper and stuff like that. And I wouldn't say I've had like loads of strange experiences, but just some that have gone like, okay, that's weird, or that's a bit like, yeah, okay. Like for the black cats, the big black cats I've seen, panthers and stuff. There's quite a lot of that around Worcestershire.
Hmm.
So I'll be talking about that, orbs, some UFOs, that sort of thing. Um,
Ooh.
so yeah, and then probably about the area itself a little bit because there is a lot of high strangeness in this area. There's a lot of ghosts and is some of the stuff's probably the most haunted places in Britain. There's a place called Avonbury Church. Don't know if you've ever heard of that.
I think rings a
Uh,
bell. Yeah.
yeah, so there's people who've done like that's near a place called Bromyard, and they've had people doing paranormal investigations. I think like landowners and stuff, they don't like them going there and stuff. There's yeah and stuff. So, but yeah, there's a lot of strangeness around there. So yeah,
Interesting, man.
I'll talk about the Black Panthers, I think,
But
first.
we've got a lot of cool stuff that you've just mentioned there. So I'm
Yeah,
I'm excited for this, man. I just before we get into the big cats,
yeah,
would you be able to tell us sort of what got you into the paranormal? Where did it kind of start for you?
yeah. So from a young age, I've always been curious of like, there's got to be more, you know, to just us, I think. And also, I love movies. I'm a big sort of action horror. I love Alien and all that sort of stuff, and I'm really into astronomy. So, from a young age, I've got a telescope now and stuff. I've rarely used it. It takes a lot of time to actually set it up and stuff. Um, but I really just love staring at the stars and all that sort of stuff. Um, I mean, so from about the age of 11, I've been into astronomy. So I've been like looking up at the stars and just like stargazing and things like that. So yeah. So that's where it's really started for me. Um, I would say also I have that natural fear of the dark as well, because I come from a rural area. I mean, it's like because I'm like brought up in a place called Suckley. It's just so like it's proper countryside. It's like proper like it's very dark. There's no
Mhm.
like street lights and things. So um, yeah, like I mean, I remember just like my mum being like, "Oh, can you go and get the washing from down the bottom of the garden?" And our garden is like proper. It's just sort of. it was quite big, quite long, and it's just sort of like, yeah, it's all the way down there, and it's like pitch black. And there's like we've got a field right next to our garden, which the gate was a gate access, and it was just like, it's just like no neighbor. We didn't have any neighbors on the left hand side and stuff, so it's just like felt a bit like exposed,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So
So you had a natural fear of the dark, like a lot of us have. Like
yeah,
I've always been very scared of the dark.
yeah. It's just like your imagination. I think as a boy, I think
Mm-hmm.
like all the toys I used to play with and all that sort of stuff, movies I like seeing. Like my parents were very relaxed of like what films I was watching, like at a very young age. I saw Alien on TV at the age of 7, and all that sort of stuff. There was no like real boundaries and things. So I think that probably plays on your mind a little bit, and
Mm-hmm.
you just have this sort of your imagination just goes off, doesn't it, and stuff. So
My granddad let me watch Chucky, Child's
oh
Play,
yeah,
when I
yeah,
was about 4,
yeah,
and it messed me up, man.
yeah.
It's
Dolls,
probably
yeah,
why I'm doing this podcast because it messed
yeah,
me up, freaked me out a lot. Like
yeah,
he thought it was a kids' film
yeah, yeah,
somehow, and
yeah,
yeah, my mum wasn't too pleased that I'd
yeah,
seen this film.
yeah, yeah. No, dolls are just like they're quite yeah. Something about dolls, man, just freaky, isn't it?
And
And
people have haunted dolls in their house. I never understand
yeah,
that. I never
yeah,
understand
no,
it. So many people do in the paranormal world.
yeah,
Just find each to their own, but not for
yeah.
me, man.
I mean, it's like nothing really like freaky happened as a kid. Um, I mean, I remember seeing like what we assumed was just like a meteorite, which is just something that crashed in the field. I remember going out with my dad and going in that field and looking for it. So that was always like you're sort of quite curious. Oh, what was that? That just crashed. So basically, we used to have a bungalow. My parents had a bungalow, and in the lounge it was big, single paned windows, and you could look out. And the one night we just saw a big flash across the sky, and just assume it's just sort of, it's a meteorite that's just quite burning up, but quite decent size that, and crashing in the field or something.
Did you hear it? Could you hear it? Or
No, I didn't really hear it. No, it's just one of those that you like, just like, whoa, going across the site. So that was quite
hmm
cool.
hmm
Um,
So you didn't have any experiences as a kid, which were kind of like you didn't see anything that you can remember or anything weird like that.
the only thing was it leads into the big cat stuff. Um,
hmm
so I was about 14 to 16, and this is where I sort of talk about my rural upbringing and sort of a very farming sort of community. So I used to go along to part of a shoot, like pheasant shooting,
hmm
and my dad was part of that shoot. And in the summer, they would do the woodland management, the woodland like conservation. It was him and this other guy, and they do a lot of like brush cutting and chainsawing and stuff. And I would go off with a little short shotgun, and I would go hunting just squirrels and pigeons, and so I was quite like, I knew how to handle guns and stuff like that and safety. It's just a very single barrel shotgun. It was quite like, it wasn't like a big firearm or anything like that. So and just shooting off little small things. And as I'd gone this one weekend while they were doing some, I could hear the chainsawing in the background, and the it's quite thick. This one woodland on this private farmland, and it's very thick. It's like a steep woodland and stuff. They're down the bottom, and I'm like sort of working my way through all the brash, all the brambles, and all this sort of stuff. I've got the gear on that like protects you as well. It's summer, it's quite heavy going and hot because I come from the field. And then I remember, because it's only just from thinking about some of the more recent like big cat experiences and stuff, that has got me thinking about it, and like thought, oh yeah, I remember that. That was just like really weird. That I saw what was like. At first, I think my initial sort of judgment of what type of cat it was like a tiger because of the markings and stuff. But then when I'm really thinking about it, it's probably a panther, but with the other market, like before it's like fully black, there is some markings in there because they're part of the leopard family and stuff. So I was like I was getting through, and then I look up and I could see this face of it's probably about 10 meters away, 10, 15 meters away. And it's sort of like you can see it's the back of its shoulders and it's prowling through, and I can see its canines. It's like it's got its mouth open, it's like sort of going, it's like, and it's whether it knows I'm there, like surely it must have known I was there, and it sent signals to my brain. I was just like, I don't know why, but I've got to get further ahead of it so I can really get a proper look and just get that 100% confirmation in my brain. And I don't know why. I thought because I got a shotgun in my hand, I just thought I'm safe. So I'm like, I'm just trying to get through all this stuff and like trying to get to the top to try and catch up with it. Because it's sort of like it did disappear quite quickly. I suppose camouflage maybe or something like that. It was just so. It was like, nah, that can't be, a big cat, like proper solid thing. It was huge, and I'm getting to the top of the woodland and working my way through, and I come to the top of the path where I thought it was going to exit. So it comes to a path and a public sort of pathway and stuff. And there was a lady walking a little spaniel dog, Springer Spaniel. I was like, oh, can't be the Springer Spaniel. And she's a little bit like sort of like, oh, what are you doing there? Because I've got this shotgun, thinking, what's he doing, and I was just like, all I said to her, I do remember saying to her, like, oh, did you see anything come out or anything, but the thing with these sort of animals is that they're renowned for being up in trees and stuff, high up in trees. They can climb, they're good climbers. So I mean, I was pretty sure that what I saw was like
That's wild. How long did that experience last? How long did you actually have a visual of this creature?
I would say probably about 5 to 6 seconds. Yeah. Yeah. So it's not a huge amount of time, but like it's enough for me to see it sort of like you can imagine its shoulders, and then it's sort of like going like that, but I'm catching its face as well and its mouth open. So like when you go to like the zoos, and you see like a tiger prowling or something like that, and you can see like its canines and its mouth open and stuff. So whether it was just all the noise and everything from the chainsaw going on, and that was just like, yeah, I mean, if it even was that, I assumed it, I was pretty like,
yeah,
it's still in my mind because I'm one of these people that I've got such a good memory of stuff. If something happens, I'm like, okay, that sticks with me, and
absolutely. And
and I
something
can
like that, man.
yeah. So it was quite weird.
Because 5, 6 seconds, I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but I
Yeah,
kind of think with an experience like that, it is quite a lot of time. Because
yeah,
most Bigfoot sightings, for example, are about that sort of time. Really, they're
yeah,
very quick.
yeah,
But obviously, something like that is going to stick in your mind. That's incredible, man.
yeah.
So you said it wasn't fully black.
No, it definitely I could tell there was markings on it. I
Hmm.
could distinguish those markings like across the face and things like that. That's why I think at first, like at that age, I suppose I was just like my first initial thought was, what's the what animal do I know of, like that comes to my head straight away, and it's like a tiger, and I think maybe that's just like if it had some sort of like, because obviously the patterns they could seem camouflaged, but I definitely saw like big canine teeth. These. So it was, yeah, it was a bit weird.
And was it kind of as big as your general panther? Would you say like that kind of size?
Yeah, yeah, I would say. I mean, because you're talking like what are they? They're sort of they're about 3 foot wide or something like that, 2 to 3 foot wide, and they're about 8 foot long or something. I think they're usually. So yeah.
So this thing was big, man. What you
Yeah,
saw.
yeah, 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 yeah. I think it was quite stocky. I mean,
Hmm.
because obviously I didn't see a tail, but I've just seen the shoulders, so I'm just thinking, it's obviously quite a stocky one. Um,
Wow.
so
Did
yeah.
you hear? Did anyone else report seeing anything else similar in that area at that same time? I know that's difficult, but
No, because obviously, like, you're talking like such a rural place, and I mean, a lot of farmers and people on the shoot and loads of people in the area always said they've had counts, they've had run-ins with big black cats. They've seen them and they believe they're there.
mhm,
There's been numerous accounts where people have like debunked. They're trying to debunk it and say, "Oh, it's mudjack, like it's like a black mudjack and stuff." And there have been reports of like there being darker haired mudjack and things. But when you see, I mean, if I come on to the other sightings I've had, like you're like, nah, that's you know what you see,
mhm, mhm.
You're just like when you've got a tail, which is sort of like that,
Yeah, it's very
like that.
distinctive. Yeah.
Yeah.
So after that first experience you had, I mean, before that, was you kind of interested in the big cat in the UK, or was that kind of the thing that set you off?
I think yeah. I mean, it was something that I think because I've always had an overall um like interest in like paranormal and things, and of course like big cats. They're not. Then it's not a paranormal thing, but then is it? Because there is a you could look at it but two ways, couldn't you? Because in some ways, this we see all these sightings and we know what a big cat is and all this sort of stuff, but then it's like in the UK, it's a bit like even though it's not like supposed to be native here, but it's a bit like the Bigfoot thing again. You know, it's like why are people not really getting the real proper like evidences in like that um sort of 26 30 second video, or
Hmm.
something like that, or like being right up front with it, and they're gathering some real DNA. Whereas I think it's like it's almost with the panthers and stuff. They're like or big cats. Um, we've got history there of like these exotic pets being released and things like that, and it's just sort of a bit like. But then it seems they just sort of people see it for a bit and then it just disappears.
Hmm.
It's just
Hmm.
like
Yeah,
it must be somewhere.
absolutely, absolutely. I mean,
um,
these things, if they don't want to be found by people,
yeah,
they can avoid people.
yeah, yeah,
They've got the
exactly.
ability to do
Yeah,
that.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but we know in the 70s, as you said, in the 70s there was the act, the big cat released the exotic pets, and
yeah,
people,
yeah,
rather than killing them and sending them to zoos and stuff like that, they just let them
yeah,
go.
yeah,
We know that happened. But these things have been reported before that. You know, this
yeah,
goes back, as you know, in the history, these things have been reported for decades.
yeah, yeah,
And so many people see these things all over the UK. These things are
yeah,
reported. I've shared before in the show that my mother-in-law saw one,
yeah,
and she didn't report it to anyone until I started Let's Get Freaky. That was the first
yeah,
time it had been put out there. But can you imagine how many people have seen these things
yeah,
and don't want to talk about it because
yeah,
you sometimes get a look when you talk about this stuff.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Really,
yeah,
science says there's no big cats in the UK.
yeah,
Well, you know, so many people see these things, and there is
yeah,
actually a lot of evidence that they are there. You
yeah.
know, so
But
it's
I think what just strikes me, I find interesting is that it's just like I'm really in the whole zoological sort of stuff. I'm into like I'm just into the science and the biology and all this sort of thing, and I just find like you know it's interesting to like we get all this evidence coming in of things, um, and I think we just need that final conclusion, don't we? Of just
Mhm.
like yeah,
Absolute proof.
it's I think that's where it is for me. It's just that's how I'm like so like
Hmm.
I think it's just like I'm always trying to look for that answer. And it's like for ourselves in life, we live on this planet, very small planet, and it's such a huge universe, and we're completely tiny, really. But all this mad stuff seems to go on and happen,
Hmm.
and you think, then what else? I mean, I think you have to be quite narrow-minded, and I think we're all sort of like led into this path of just going down, like, you know, with work, you got work 9 to 5 and all this sort of stuff. And we have this very narrow mind, and we have to live in society where we're sort of controlled, you know, in the sense of like, you know, so money and all this sort of thing.
Hmm.
And so on. I think, you know, there's got to be more to life than, you know, there's got to be things going on that, you know, I mean, of course there is. I mean, it was,
Absolutely,
you know,
absolutely. I mean, the thing is, we don't really understand
that's it. Yeah.
where we are. We don't
Yeah.
know. I mean,
No.
there's some great ideas. You know, there's some very intelligent people out there that know,
Yeah.
you know, certain things, and we've got a rough idea, a little bit of what's going on
But,
around
but
us. But
it's even like even the start has to start from somewhere. You could,
yeah,
like
absolutely.
there must have been nothing at one point, but there
Yeah.
has to be nothing. So
Hmm.
it blows
Absolutely.
your mind. You're like
Where
it
does it
completely.
start?
Yeah,
Where
yeah,
does it start? But I mean, they're coming out with new information that the our universe is far bigger than they think it was at first, you know,
yeah,
last
yeah,
year. So the thing is, we're constantly evolving, we're constantly learning.
yeah,
But the more we learn, the more we realize we don't really know a lot.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, that our experts don't have the answers.
mm,
We don't really know what consciousness is. We don't
yeah,
really know what our dreams are. You know, the dreams are very strange.
yeah,
And there seems to be something more going on there, and we don't really have the answers to a lot of this
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
All we know is really is that so many people have experiences that it's like, to me, it's undeniable that there is
yeah,
something. There's more to this world, you know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, definitely. I mean, it is strange. I mean, yeah, I mean, with the Black Panthers and stuff, I say Black Panthers because it's for me it's the easiest way to
Hmm.
identify. And I mean that you could have different variations. You could have the pumas. You could have you know, like the lynxes and things. I mean, there was up in Scotland recently, wasn't there, that someone had released those lynxes? Um,
Yes,
yeah. So
and they're talking about reintroducing the lynx, I believe, to the UK.
oh, all right, okay.
I
Well,
think
yeah,
so. I watched a
yeah,
YouTube video on it the other day. They're
yeah,
looking, they want to do it. They're
yeah.
looking to do it. And maybe in Scotland they already have. I'm not sure. I know they're
Yeah,
talking about wolves as well, right?
yeah. Well, yeah, I can understand it. I mean, the thing is, round here, we've got so much food available. We've got like so much mudjack, so much deer. Because mudjack, they're not like a native deer or anything, you know. And so, I mean, like literally, you hear them all the time. I mean, I'll get onto all those sort of stories because there's a lot of, I mean, because there's a lot of farmland around here, and there's been a lot of carcasses that I know, particularly from the field, literally just the farmland, not far, just opposite, pretty much. It's opposite the orchard from my house, and um, that is got like a lot of no trespassing, all this sort of stuff signs. Because I've been for walks around there, and there has been farmers put like pictures of his sheep that have been, he said, because you know I don't want people walking their dogs, where like the sort of the ewes have been literally just uh like literally everything like gone, you know,
Whoa.
ripped apart, sort of like
Wow.
stomach and things. So, and that that'll lead on to another sort of so basically there was a customer I was working for, they were away, and I turned up to work and I noticed a deer had been hit by a car, and it was in a really bad way. And I was like, oh God, what am I going to have to do with this? I'm going to have to, you know. So I was like, I text them, and they're like, oh, you know, can you dispatch them somehow? And I'm like, oh bloody hell, well, what with, because it was in a really bad way, and it was getting quite frightened because I thought it was already dead, but it like came up and it was in quite a nasty state. And anyway, he got into a farmer friend, and he just came and dispatched it, and I helped him move it. Anyway, so we moved it into the field just next door. It's like a bit of an orchard, um, and but then I thought we just sort of place it aside because it's quite heavy. When you start like dragging a, you know, you're like bloody hell, it's quite a lot of weight to these things, and so they're quite chunky animals and things. And so, but later on, he after he had gone and everything, I thought I need to move that a bit further into the ditch out of the way, because it was just sort of on the edge. And when the chap comes to do the mowing and all this sort of stuff, you're going to see the flies and everything. So I popped into a ditch, well, a bit further down anyway, into this ditch. Anyway, I came to work a couple of days later, and I was just like, where the hell's the carcass gone? Because I went to go and check on it, and I was just like, where is it? Like, there was no trace of it at all. Like, there was no bones or anything. I'm thinking, like, has there been a big cat just took that away? Because like even a fox, like,
Yeah.
would have left stuff behind. There was no fur or anything like that. I mean, unless there was some like sort of person went rummaging for it to try and. But why would you? Because I mean, it was in such a state you couldn't use it for meat or anything. So you wouldn't like to go and collect it,
and
but
there was,
unless you knew it was there,
yeah,
it was
absolutely.
just so
And there
weird.
was no sign of it being there.
No, I like went in because it's quite a it's just like a small little field basically. It's not I've turned it into a little orchard. I've basically started it up as I planted some fruit trees there, and it's not very big at all. It's just bit of land to the house, but it's got like where the road is. It's got a bit of like it's some bushes and trees and things, just come coverage, and it's got a bit of a ditch, and I just sort of moved it in just like at the top of the ditch as far as I could get through to, without cutting myself to shreds and stuff. So it should have been like easy accessible. I mean, I even had a good look around and stuff, and it just like, yeah, like it was just really weird.
That
Because
is weird.
I couldn't even see like if anything had grabbed it and just dragged it, because you would have
hmm
expected to see. I mean, I know the grass was short at the time, but this happened last year. This did last summer. Yeah,
Wow. So it'd be something pretty powerful to take it.
yeah, yeah. So I would think so. Yeah, unless it's like a group of foxes, but then you know,
That would have to be a lot,
but
right?
yeah, but then they would leave stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
More scavengery, I guess. I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah. They
There'd be
tend to.
bones and things left
Yeah,
over.
yeah. I mean, even the antlers and stuff, because
Yeah.
there were some the like small antlers on it. So yeah, I mean,
That's
yeah, the skull. You would have expected the skull to be there as well.
yeah. That's wild. And that was just a couple of days later.
That was literally only a couple of days later. So because I probably went because I was keep looking after. I grow a lot of stuff there. I grow like a greenhouse and stuff there to grow fruit and veg, and so I would have to keep things watered.
hmm
So I was going there on a regular basis. So yeah, literally, it would have been either a couple of days later. Yeah, I would think.
hmm
Yeah.
So going back to the farmer that found the mutilated carcass on his farm, does he have any idea what did that?
I don't know because I've just seen the pictures. I've just
Mhm.
seen that he's got a signpost and there's pictures there. Because I went for a walk with my brother the once. Like there's a public footpath that you can go through all the fields and then you can get through. But he doesn't like people going up there with dogs because you can come up and there's quite a lot of woodland around up around the hills and stuff. And then you can come back down onto the road. Um, and at the top of that field, there's a signpost. There was whether it's still there. I mean, I'm talking about a couple of years ago. There's definitely a signpost there, and it's got all these pictures of like sheep of his that have been mutilated, and things.
Oh, so
And then
there's been.
there's a lot of reports of that happening,
Mhm.
mutilated sheep and things.
So these are in such a bad way. What do you think? I mean, what could do that we know of? Other than a big cat or a Sasquatch,
Yeah, well, yeah. I would think, yeah, big cats.
hmm
You know, I mean, because it's easy kill for them.
hmm
I mean, I have heard like sheep going mad in the like early hours in the morning before, you know, whether people have had like, I mean, yeah, dogs could do it if you've got like, you know, sort of people with dogs and stuff. You've heard about these sheep thefts and things like that. Whether it still happens, I think it still happens. Yeah, and the dogs, you know, they can mutilate, you know, ruin a farmer's like livestock and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, and of course we've got powerful dogs out there, but they would. I don't think they would like literally, um, yeah, eat.
Yeah,
go,
leave it.
go,
I
go
mean,
and like fully eat a
yeah, but
carcass.
even if it is like a dog in the wild, that's still pretty scary, man.
It is,
That it's
yeah,
doing that, you know?
yeah. Well, yeah,
Whoa.
because that comes on to so the panther sightings I've had are not far away from that field of the carcasses.
Okay.
Because this is where it's all the links, you know, like all the links that start connecting.
Hmm.
Um, so and so basically, uh, this road that is quite a quick sort of connection to my parents in Suckley and Malvern. Is called Birchwood Lane, and it basically is about sort of 10 to 15 minutes to get to my parents' house, and I use that a lot. And it's a single country road, single lane, and I was coming. It was back in 2000, probably about 2013, because it was when I just started living in Malvern. 2013 to 2015, I was probably around about there. It was before I got married and stuff. So I remember coming over the brow of a hill as I'm coming down through this lane. It was like September time in the evening, so about sort of 6 o'clock. You know, so the sun's sort of low in the sky, and I'm coming over, and I look over to my left, and there's a field that comes down at the bottom on the left hand side, and I'm like, no way, that's a panther, or like, you know, big black cat. And even judging by the scale of like working the scale out and how far away it was, because I would probably say it was coming down to the bottom of the dip of the field. So the road actually goes with the sort of contour of the field and everything. It's sort of coming down like that. And so I'm looking just through the between the gate and the hedge and everything. There's quite a decent gap, and you can only drive through this lane at like 20 miles an hour, because if you there's horses and other cars, you can't go very fast. There's huge potholes, you know. And yeah, I see it just like there, but it's got the whole like proper shoulder movement and everything, and it's there going through, you know, with its tail and everything. It's just going through the long grass, and I'm like, quickly, I've got to get down to the bottom, because I knew there was like an access point, an opening there, to try and see if I could see it. But the grass is quite long, and you know, it's not going to be like, I can't think it's going to be like a dog, because it definitely did not have that shape of a dog, and it's not going to be. I could see the shape clear enough to know that it was a big cat, and then I knew it was not going to be a small cat, because the grass was so long that
Hmm.
I could see this thing was like, you know, almost 2 meters, you know.
Wow.
So and it was going up towards the woodland. There's a woodland at the top left, and it's because there's loads of woodland around there, around the Birchwood Lane, and yeah, so yeah, I just literally was trying to get down to the bottom of this corner to look through, see if I could see it, and yeah, no, that was it. It was
Wow.
I couldn't see. I was tempted to, like, there was a farm just below there. I was tempted to just like pull in and, well, I don't know. They might have thought I was crackers. Ask the farmer or something.
It'd be
Um,
interesting to know.
yeah,
Yeah.
but if they had ever seen sightings. But it's exactly the same area that my sister has seen the black panther on the opposite side, or a big cat on the opposite side of the road, on I think the opposite field. But she's coming down the main road. There's a main road that takes you towards Hereford, and she's looking over to the right hand side as a passenger, and my mum's driving, and she's seen, and that only happened last year or the year before, and she's seen she's seen it like just going up towards the woodland on the left. So yeah,
wow, man.
So I haven't like asked her much detail on like distance and how far away, but yeah.
So she describes a black panther-like creature as
She was
well.
like, what is that? You know, it's in the sense like, oh my god, that's like a black panther. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so
Wow, man.
that's not the best experience she's had. She's actually probably had one of the closest encounters that I've ever come across, and that was last year when she was living at her old property, and oh, I got a tickle in my throat. And last property she was living at, and she was living on a barn conversion, and it was she had gone to walk the dogs that she was looking after. She had a couple of labs with her, and so labs are pretty like robust. They're like pretty hardy sort of dogs, and they were very. The one dog, the black lab, was quite like just was quite. She was. If you entered the house, she heckles would come up and she'd just bark at you. She did not like blokes. Definitely did not like blokes.
Mm-hmm.
So she was pretty hardy and everything. My sister had gone out for a walk in the summer with the dogs in the evening, and it's all farm land, so it's like a barn conversion on a farm. And I think the farmer is actually the landlord for all these properties and stuff. And she goes through, and it's cornfield, and so she's walking along, and do you mind if I grab
Yeah, of course, man.
water?
Let me pause it for a second.
Yeah.
Okay, we're back on.
Right, yeah. So so she was just walking through with the Labradors, and so it's the evening, but it's the sun's still up because we've got long evenings and light evenings and stuff. And she was it's a cornfield, so cornfields are scary as. And so she's just like going through, and then all of a sudden something big just jumps right out in front, like not literally in front, but like enough to be like, whoa. This is what she tells me, and she said it goes straight into the bush, the hedge and stuff in front, and the dogs are just gone nope, and they legged it all the way back to the property. And I'm talking, my sister is quite far from the barn conversion. It's quite a way, and she lives in the same area. It's like it's around near Worcester, so Worcestershire and stuff. So just on the outskirts, and she's just literally going, "Oh my god!" She's quite shook up, I think, because the dogs have just like bloody left her instead of like stop there and barking. They like their hackles come up, and even the one that's quite a robust, like they just legged it back and left her there. So she's just, oh my god! And she knew this thing had just gone into the sort of in the undergrowth, and it's just sat there. And so she's just like, right, I'm not hanging around to know. She knows there's something there because she could hear it rustling. Because she rang me straight away. She said, "Oh, Si, you wouldn't believe. Like, I'm just ringing you because I'm a bit like scared because, and stuff. I only like. I think she said she picked up a stick or something or something. She's like going back to the house and stuff.
Yeah.
And the weird thing is, so what can back all this up is that her previous partner, her ex-boyfriend and stuff, he was doing some work for a chap, and this chap is a photographer, and he takes photography of the landscapes as part of this thing, of like and stuff of the local area and things like that. And he says he's got photographic evidence of big cats because he takes pictures of the landscapes everywhere all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and he says he's got pictures of them.
Whoa.
He's got like a quite decent camera, you know. But I don't know whether he wants to discuss. You know, I don't know the guy or anything like that, because I did ask my sister, like, oh, can I get in touch with him? And she might still be able to get in touch with him for me and things. But you know,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't like to give these places away and stuff. I know I
Mm-hmm.
probably I've given a lot of stuff
Yeah.
away. But it's just sort of
Yeah.
it's like you know, it's sort of protection of people's land and stuff like that. You
Mm-hmm.
know, you don't want people
Absolutely.
going around looking for these things. And
Yeah. And it's dangerous as well. You
it
know,
is dangerous,
it is
yeah.
dangerous.
Yeah, because these creatures want to stay away from us. You
Mm-hmm.
know, they don't really want to encounter with humans, because I mean, like, okay, mountain lions, they're quite like defensive, I think, from what I know, and tigers, yeah, you wouldn't want to be meeting a tiger in the wild or anything like that. They're pretty, you know, they'll have you.
Mm-hmm.
But the sort of like panthers and things like that, they tend to just sort of stay away, I think. It's especially, you know, where, you know, this isn't their natural habitat. If we entered their like natural habitat, it's a different thing. You know, you're going into the wild and stuff like that, and they're like, "Oh, hang on a minute, you're coming into my territory."
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know,
If they're backed into a corner, if you bump
yes,
into one
yeah.
of these things.
If you back into it in the corner, it's going to get aggressive, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
you know.
Absolutely, man. Yeah.
Um, and so yeah, so that was her real like close encounter
So where did the dogs run off? Did they run completely back to home?
back to home. Yeah,
What? And that's very out of character for them to do that.
yeah, because they are. My sister was looking after them for like she had them for 6 months, because the owners went to Australia, and then you have to have this thing, don't you? The quarantine thing, like their
Hmm.
papers and all this sort of stuff to pass through, and then the dogs have to be checked, and so my sister's good, you know, good friends with these people, and she was just like, "Oh, I'll have the dogs for, you know, when you're ready, when you got settled down and everything, and ready to get them sent over to Australia." And they got really attached to the dogs, you know, they got and everything. So, and the one, lovely as anything, really like proper lovable Labrador. The other one is a bit more defensive, older, just didn't like blokes, you know.
Hmm.
Um, but you know, they're proper. They were like, the amount of land that there was. They were almost like farm dogs, you know, because they just literally were just running around, and went on big walks with them and stuff like that. So,
Whoa.
so you know, it's. I mean, my sister must have been probably, because she showed me where it was, and it's down through the field into the next field, and then you come up, and then you get to the house property. So, I mean, I don't know how much that's in meters or whatever. I'm not very good with that sort of stuff, but yeah.
So did she saw this creature jump? Did she get a look of? I know it's difficult because it must have been so quick, but did she get a look of what this thing kind of looked like, or
She literally just said, "I think a black panther's just jumped in front of us." Because
man?
I'm assuming she's looking at her phone. She's walking
Yeah.
or something like that, and she's just seen something like go in front, like probably like 10 meters in front of her or something. Um,
And was this during the day or at night? Did you say?
this is like in the evening, so
Oh
you're
yeah.
talking like, but it's daylight, it's still day, but
Hmm.
it's sort of.
Twilight kind
I
of.
think like the encounter I had was like September time, and I think she was having it was September time, so the sun's coming down. I think it's sort of like 6 o'clock, or something
Hmm.
like that. So it's, 6 to 8 o'clock or something like that. So
Yeah.
um,
Wow.
yeah.
Man, what a thing to see.
Yeah,
and terrifying, you know, obviously.
yeah, and of course you can imagine corn as well. So
Hmm.
the sort of put tool and everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
And as you say,
freaky.
cornfields are quite freaky anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Because
know,
I've been on a walk with her around the cornfields. I'm always like, man, I've seen the signs, the film signs.
yeah,
You know,
Jeepers Creepers.
yeah, oh yeah, 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 yes,
So this thing came out and jumped to the other side of the corn.
yeah. Oh, the
Whoa.
other side into the brash, which is like, which is there's trees there, and there's like a bit of a ditch, and then some like I assume brambles and all that sort of stuff and things. Yeah,
And
um,
this thing was obviously as big as like a panther. You know, I know it's hard to measure this stuff, especially in the moment when you're
yeah,
seeing stuff like this.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's like when I'm reading my book and stuff, and it goes on about the different like species you've got, the subspecies and variations. You've got the panther, which is actually quite a stocky one, quite a big one, and then you've got the um, is it sometimes what people call like a puma, I think, or something.
Hmm.
That tends to be a much smaller but a slightly longer tail, and not as stocky,
Hmm.
and things. So yeah, it's hard to know whether what sort of, because I think panther is generally looked at a variation of a type of leopard,
Hmm.
because they sometimes have those markings. They're like, because when they're like cubs and stuff, sometimes they've got like all the markings and the spots that show more predominant, and also when they're darker as well as they get older, those spots are always there, I believe, and it's just so sort of you know darker hair or something,
Hmm.
which disguises it. Um,
Do you think it's possible that these, because obviously when they were released in the 70s, for example, do you think it's possible that they interbred and maybe they've made another type of cat? I mean,
yeah, could be. Yeah, yeah. You just never know, really. I,
yeah, or
I
they were
think,
just adapted to the English.
yeah, I think. Well, this is the thing. Like, I think one thing I was always to believe in science and stuff like that is that with mutations, you've always got like environmental factors, and then you've got like actual sort of like genetics and stuff that play with it. So you either um, it's like we all humans at one point had just brown eyes, I believe, and it was only just through the fact like I think there was a genetic mutation that there was one particular human that had developed a blue eye, and you know went on to, and that's why you see a lot of Nordics, I think, with blue
Hmm.
eyes things, because it's to do with the northern hemisphere, and it's to do with I think the light and all that sort of stuff. So I think there is all that plays into account, doesn't it? Really.
Hmm.
Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, there's a lot more to it, like sort of the different strains, genetics, and all this sort of thing.
Hmm. So
Uh,
have you had any other visuals of a big cat?
um, so there's that. Let me think now. So my sister's encounter. There's my encounter of that one. No, I don't think there is. I think the only thing was on Birchwood Lane is that dog type creature, which was the
Yeah, do you want to share that one?
yeah. So that was basically we're going down the same lane. Um, we're going through Birchwood Lane, and we're coming up at the top. It's Christmas Eve. I'm a passenger in the car, and we're coming along, and I'm just like, yeah, just chilling in the car, looking ahead, not really, probably a bit tired, not taking much notice and things. And yeah, the driver is which is the my wife, and she looks to the right and sees what she can describe as it freaks her out, like she sort of face goes white and stuff, and she goes like well, that's what, she's just sort of like, oh, okay. And I went, what's the matter? What's wrong? And we'd driven past by then, and she had seen a black dog type animal on its hind legs, but like out of the Grim out of Harry Potter,
Mm-hmm.
which is like Sirius Black sort of, so it's, so it's just, yeah, that's a bit like odd, just to see that. So that this thing was just like, I believe, just sort of standing upright and like on its hind legs and just
Whoa.
just yeah, because I know where it is and where she meant, because when we went past, it's the bit, because I drive through there all the time, and there's a house there, a house on the right hand side, and there's a field that goes down, and but there's a break in the field. There's like a fence in, but there's a break in that fence in, and there is like a little bit of a gate or something, or a stile.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, it was just like there, like on its hind
That's
legs, which is a bit
wow.
weird.
I mean, I've talked to so many people that have seen creatures like this.
Yeah.
So it is strange
Whether it's like resting on something, like, and you
yeah,
just can see that, but like its face is like looking as we're driving by, which is weird.
because you think like normal dogs, say for example, they don't tend to stand on their hind legs. I know they
Yes.
can. My dog
Yeah. Yeah.
sometimes does,
Yeah.
but it's very rare, especially in the middle of a forest, or
Yeah.
something like that. How big roughly would you say this thing was? Like as standing, was it like?
Um, I wouldn't know. I couldn't get much information out of her
Hmm.
because she doesn't want to talk about it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool,
Yeah.
man.
Just
Yeah.
she's very, yeah.
Hmm.
It's sort of very like, yeah. No, I think he's just sort of like, oh, it's just probably a dog, or
Yeah.
something like that. And I think it's fine. And
Well, that's
you
the
know,
thing. A lot of people don't want to talk about this sort of stuff.
yeah.
I
Yeah. Yeah.
totally get it. I totally get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And it's very strange.
She thinks I make a big deal about stuff, and I think in some ways, I think some people are just, yeah. Um, I mean, it's like the fear factor again. You know, it's like people like that comfort zone of knowing that
Hmm.
everything's okay, we're all right, everything's fine, and stuff. And don't get me wrong, because I've been scared quite a few times, like, and like at the point where I'm going, oh my god, like, what is that? What's going on?
I
But
I get scared all the time, bro. Honestly,
yeah,
I've had a lot of weird experiences,
yeah, yeah,
and I'm happy to never have any more weird experiences because it's never really been positive for me.
yeah,
So I totally get it. It's positive in a way that I talk about it and I actually meet cool
yeah,
people from those experiences. But in the moment when it happens, it scares
yeah.
the crap out of me, man.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
So I
it's
totally
like
get it.
the big cats and stuff. I find that really interesting. Like, I love the sort of, I love cryptozoology, and I love about animals and that side of it.
Hmm.
And like the spectral ghost sort of thing. Yeah, that doesn't like bother me too much, as long as, I think with those sort of things, like, it's like it's like when people talk about aliens, I'm like, okay, I'm happy to see UFOs and that sort of stuff.
Hmm.
But if you're talking about like what, like greys and things like that, and if they're coming into my space, I'm like, no, you just stay over there. Like, if you make yourself look that sort of like deadpan,
Hmm.
like you don't know what the hell's they're thinking or what's going on, then you can stay out of my world.
Yeah,
You just sort of like,
absolutely.
it's
Yeah.
just sort of, I
Don't want
find
to
that,
get involved in that. That's for sure.
yeah, yeah, it's sort of like, oh god. But yeah, no, going back to actually my one panther sighting, the one through Birchwood Lane, I forgot to mention this.
Hmm.
That actually going over the hill is quite important because it links up stuff. And so I said that's like 2013, 15. And then it was the next day, if not a couple of days later, that it was being reported on radio, that people have been seeing in a place called Upton-on-Severn. And that is, I don't know if you've ever heard that name before. So it's literally about um, it's 8 miles away or so from where my sighting was. So people have been seeing reports, and that was coming through on the radio on BBC Radio 2. And I know it was when Chris Evans was still standing in on Radio 2, I believe. So yeah,
Interesting.
and
Yeah.
I actually heard it on the radio when yeah, they were talking about it, and I was like, oh my god, maybe I should ring in,
Yeah,
because I'm like,
absolutely.
and I said, I know, I never did, but it was just sort of like, yeah. So there was actually reports in Upton-on-Severn, which is like basically that's quite known for its boats. It's like a little boat town and stuff because the river goes through there. And so I'm not sure whereabouts the sighting was, but there's been like I say, there's been quite a few sightings around Worcestershire. It's quite well known.
And as you said, most people don't report this stuff.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
would say like probably 90, 95%, probably more than that. I don't know. I don't know the actual, but most people do not report this stuff.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, we're lucky if we can get you on a podcast and hear it, and put it
yeah,
out that way. That's why I think it's so important to share this stuff,
yeah, yeah,
because the fact the more people that share, the more kind of easier it gets for other people that don't
yeah,
want to share it.
yeah,
And
yeah.
and some people are not as interested in it. Like my mother-in-law, she's interested in it, in this kind of stuff. But when she told me about the Black Panther experience that she had, I was like, wow, that's amazing. Like, let's talk
Yeah,
about it. And she was like, yeah, I've never really thought too much about it. It was just a very
yeah,
weird
yeah,
thing at the time.
yeah,
But now I've put it out there on the podcast, so hopefully
yeah.
people
I
know
think
about it
it's.
now.
I think like with big cats and stuff, like we definitely know they're out in America and all that sort of stuff because some of it's their native, like
Hmm.
mountain lions and stuff. Whereas it was here, it's like, well, it's a bit of a weird one because it's like, you know, it's not native. They're not native here and stuff. But then you just got to look. Like I went to Bodmin Jail, and
Yes.
when you go through there as a tourist, they talk about the beast of Bodmin, and they talk about the roaming of a big, huge black cat or something like that. And they actually have like a skull there of which I think is a panthera species, like a panther or a cougar or something like that. And it is an actual skull that was found. So I mean, it's not. When you look at them, they're not actually that big. They don't look huge.
Hmm.
So whether that was more like I don't know, maybe it was. I mean, it was probably like that. I've got a picture of it.
Yeah.
So you probably, but still, the thought of that going around, and you could think to yourselves, well, these animals were probably maybe they would have been transported back in the day. Like the Romans were like well up for doing stuff like that, didn't they?
No,
I assume
absolutely.
so. I mean, I'm not like a
Absolutely.
historian, but
And
I'm
in
sure.
the Tower of London, they
Yeah,
had it was a zoo. There was a period where the Tower of London was a zoo, and it had, I'm sure it had like polar bears, it had bears,
yeah,
it had animals like
yeah,
exotic animals. That
yeah,
was
yeah.
a long time ago.
Yeah,
And
you just reminded me of something actually because nearby there's a place called there's a nature reserve because lots of the Worcestershire nature reserves, and this one particular which is between Malvern and Suckley, and it was during lockdown, and me and my brother went for a walk. He like came and I think you could meet family relatives. I'm not sure. I think we did anyway, didn't we? I think so. So anyway, he sort of like he came down to visit, and this was in the evening in the summer. And we went for a walk through the nature reserve, and we're going along, and there's actually I know because I worked for the conservation people there, the Worcestershire Wildlife Trust, and they actually told me that apparently there was an elephant buried there because they had zoo animals brought there and stuff back in the day when they had like you were saying about like the cities and stuff And then we had the war and all this sort of, and so the animals had to be taken away from the main cities, and they would have taken them to the countryside. And apparently there was an elephant there, and it died. And so they buried it. They buried it there. So somewhere in this nature reserve, there's apparently elephant remains.
Wow.
And so, but anyway, I was walking. We were walking along, and we were going deeper into the nature reserve along because we wanted to try and see if we could see some otters or otter tracks or something. And there's like a stream that runs through like a bit of a small river. And my brother's not really. He didn't sort of notice it, but I'm like, well, that's a bit weird. What was that? And something had come and jumped down out of the tree. And we disturbed something. And it obviously, it then just gone scarpered up. I mean, I never really got a good look at it, but I'm like, well, what on earth? Like, I mean, it was as heavy as a deer, to be able to come off down a tree, because a squirrel wouldn't have made all that noise.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't think what else would have made that noise or anything like that. And it just went off,
So you didn't see it. You didn't see it.
Didn't see. All I can remember capturing is thinking like something, because I'm seeing the branches and everything moving, and it's all. I mean, it's very heavily. You've got a lot of canopy vegetation in there. It's really quite thick.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's going off and up and away, because the vegetation gets sort of quite thicker and thicker and stuff. I mean, it is managed, but it's all done with sort of because it's got meadows and stuff. So it's managed with like different types of cattle and all this sort of thing. So, but something jumped out the tree. So
Interesting.
because it was arching over the water,
mm-hmm.
and it sort of came down, and it just sort of like you could hear and I was like, Ali, did you hear that? And he said, oh yeah, sort of, but I don't know what he was. He was just like looking around as he does, and I was just like, oh, that was a bit strange. But we actually started going back then, and because we came across a couple of lads who were just sort of like fishing there when they shouldn't really be fishing, stuff. Just catching small little things, probably trout and stuff. But on the way back, we're coming back to the car park, and we come across the police officer, because they're doing the checks at these places, because there is someone who stays in a property there at the nature reserve, and it does say, we've got an Alsatian here and things, because like because it being locked down, the police were doing a lot of checks and stuff, and they were having a lot of problems there. They were having people like coming in the evening and sort of having sort of like meeting up and having picnics and leaving a lot of mess around and stuff like that, and having parties and things. So she was like, "Oh, what are you two doing out? It's like, there is you shouldn't be coming here like past 6 o'clock." And I was like, "Oh, I didn't know," because you used to be able to just go walking through there and stuff and enjoy it and things, because you see the bats and everything flying around and stuff. So that was a bit of that, but definitely, I still think of it now, because it's definitely sort of left something there in my mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Something in there.
And I think as well, with guys like us that are interested in this kind of stuff, we're always kind of thinking in that kind of world. I'm always we're always looking up. When I'm in the forest, I'm always trying to see something. So we're more aware of things like that. I would say. You hear something that big jumping out of a tree.
Yeah.
I mean, what could that be, man?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's a bit of an odd one, really.
Yeah. So with what you drove past on Christmas Eve, which was like an upright canine, which is sounds like could be some sort of possible cryptid dog man.
This is what you think,
things.
don't you? You're like, it's the first thing that sort of comes to your mind. You think, is it like a wild dog? Is it like, they reported of the black dog, because she said it was like a black dog, and if you have a look at what the grim looks like, because I was like, oh, what does that look like? I can't remember that. And I'm like, oh yeah, that looks like, yeah, that does look like one of those sort of like mystical werewolves, the black werewolf that sort of type thing.
Which
Which is,
again has been in our culture for
yeah,
hundreds of years, going
yeah,
back to
yeah,
stories of the black dog.
yeah.
Yeah,
It actually
interesting.
reminds me of something weird that did happen that I can still remember as a kid. You were talking about like, have I had anything strange happen when I was a kid? And I remember I shared a bedroom with my brother because the house was like a bungalow at the time. And I remember clear as day, I'm sat on my bed, he's sat on his bed, and we had like a box here which was full of like magazines. It used to be full of all magazines, comics, and all that sort of stuff. And we had Labradors, we had dogs, but black labs and everything. But I remember seeing like, because I said to my brother, like, did you see that? And I remember like a black like dog's tail go through the wall. I can never like understand that. I've never been able to like figure that. I just thought, because like even like there's probably a good 3 foot or even more than that of the wall that's there until you're at the entrance of the door, exposed, but it's just sort of going through where this magazine box is. And I'm like, well, it was quite a thick tail. And I'm like, well, Bramble didn't have a thick tail. And I'm like, Ben, our oldest Labrador, I was like, he never comes up to the bedrooms. He won't care. He would never come up here. And I couldn't explain what that was. That was weird.
And
Just
that was a solid
it
tale
just
as well.
it was tail, just a tail go through. To me as a
Whoa.
kid, it looked like it was just going through the wall because I was,
Yeah.
I was just like, what, like it was just
Wow.
sort of, yeah,
That's what I love about these conversations because it
yeah,
sparks these memories,
yeah, yeah. It does,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
because most people don't write all this stuff down. I don't. When stuff happens weird, I don't write it
Well,
down. When
this
it
is
happens,
why I've been like writing it down, but like I've been trying to get everything down as quick as I can because it's amazing how, because I was like, oh, have I got enough to talk about? And then it's not until like I've gone. Actually, I've got quite a lot because I've only just touched the tip of the iceberg at the moment.
oh wow.
So, yeah, yeah. So, um, yeah,
Have you,
it's more to do with like the UFOs and stuff
let's go, brother.
and orbs. So, where shall I start? So, I suppose I could say this is just a short one, but we used to go down on holiday to St David's in Wales, Pembrokeshire. We stayed at property. It was when I first started going out with my girlfriend and everything, my wife and stuff, and got together. And yeah, we it was like an 8 bedroom property. It was part of the. It had history to do with the lifeboat station that's there. It's called St Justinian's. It's just on the edge there. And I had to go and shut the. We've been out for a meal, been to the pub, and the gate. So parents drive up to the top of the property, but someone has to go and shut the gate right down at the bottom of the drive, right by where the lifeboat station is, and all this sort of stuff. And there's a lot of like there's been a lot of deaths and things like that from like the past, like people drowning and like of course just when even the old lifeboat sort of when they used to have just the big rowing boats and stuff like that to try and save people out at sea, have lost their lives. Seamen have lost their lives and stuff. And anyway, so I'm going down to shut this gate, which is it's really dark. And so my wife is watching me from, I'm about 19 at the time, 18, 19. And so she's looking through the window, watching me shut the gate at the bottom, which is probably about, I don't know, I'm probably about 20 meters down at the bottom, and she's then noticed it's pitch black, no lights down there and everything. I'm just obliviously shutting the gate, and then she's seeing this light following behind my head. And it's just like I've always asked her, what was it? She said, oh, I don't know. It probably. She said at first she was quite freaked out, I think, by it at first, just like going, oh, what is that? And then it's just, but then she just like tried it there again. She's just like, yeah, shrugging it out and just trying to sort of not talk about it. But she said, is it like I said, was it like, you say, well, I don't know, maybe it was a bit like a halo or something, or just like a light. It was just like a light following you from behind.
Whoa.
So that was a weird one.
She's,
I didn't know that was happening at all. I didn't see any like light around me.
Yeah.
Or like, yeah. So
any
it wasn't
weird
like,
feelings? Any weird vibes at that moment?
no. Well, the only thing I was getting is that probably like, I want to shut this gate as quickly as possible,
Yeah.
because I don't like being in the dark. It's remote Wales. So I don't know what that was really. I don't know how to, what I can explain for that.
Did that just disappear? Sorry, man. Did that just
Well, I assume I just obviously just, yeah. I don't know. She like, obviously I just came back up, and it just followed me as I was shutting the gate, and then I assume it just obviously just disappeared. Yeah. I never actually asked her that. I haven't asked her that. So I don't know. So
yeah.
it was just right behind my head. I mean, whether it's a trick of reflection, I don't know, or something, but she's looking through. I mean, I know what the windows are like. I mean, for something to follow right behind me, it would have to be, I don't know, it's strange, really. It'd have to be, yeah. I mean, it would have to be going at sort of just slower than the speed I'm going. It couldn't be like, the only thing I'm thinking of is like what, lighthouse or something like that, a light going across. But then a lighthouse just literally just spins around, doesn't it?
Yeah. And it wouldn't be like a concert. Well, I wouldn't have thought it would be like a concentrated light.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And I never saw. I don't think I remember seeing a lighthouse around there actually.
Yeah. We hear these stories and legends as well of like Will o' the Wisp and things like that. These lights that follow you and lead you into the forest and stuff. I know that's not what's happening. This was following you without you realizing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's weird, man.
Yeah, so that is an odd one, and that actually goes back to the same place. Actually, I know this isn't to do with the orbs or the UFOs, but that's when I actually met a guy who was like, it was in St David's itself in Wales, and he was what do you call people who are just going on a journey? They're sort of like, they're a bit like nomads, so living off the grid. But they just go off like a pilgrimage.
Yeah, I've gone back now. Yeah.
On a film. I can't say it. I can't say it.
I know. I'm having the same problem trying to think of the pilgrimage.
Yes, that's it. Pilgrimage. Yes, that's the one. Now you've said it, I can say it. Pilgrimage. And so yeah, he had a wolf with him, but it was like that was his companion.
What, an actual wolf?
So it was not a pure breed. It was a female, because he said if the genetics had come down, so it was her mother was I think a wolf, then you wouldn't have been able to stroke her. She would have like been quite aggressive. Well, yeah, I wouldn't like to think like a proper, like I would have had the full wolf in her and stuff. So and so obviously been bred with a dog down the line, crossbred or something. But that was quite like a surreal moment. I remember being in St David's and just sort of stroking this wolf and going like, when am I going to get like a chance to get this is the closest I'll ever get probably to stroke a wolf, you know. So that was weird. And he was, yeah, he was quite an odd character really. He was all dressed in like real proper like he was quite a biggish bloke and just thick set, and that was quite an odd occasion. I'm just chatting to him, and I don't think he gave me his real name because I told him my name. I said, "Oh, I'm Simon," and he just said Peter Simon, and I was just like, "Oh, is that some sort of like reference to the disciple?"
Yeah.
You know. So I was a bit like, yeah, that was.
Interesting.
But going back to like orbs and lights, so experience I didn't have, but it's to do with my other half. She didn't mind me talking about this, and it was so she's always had horses, um, and and this is quite local again, and of course one thing you got to think of in Malvern's known for its radar technology,
Hmm.
kinetic. If you've ever heard of kinetic,
Hmm.
and so a lot of stuff happened back in the day to do with the sort of radar systems for the military, the aircraft, and everything. And so anyway, um, so you go and bring the horses in at night time. And this is before I met her. But she told me the story. My mother-in-law had told me this story as well. And there was lights in the sky, and they just kept on and off, just changing different positions in the sky. So your classic sort of like, you know, 1 minute they're there, and the next minute they're down there. And I think they're all different colours as well. Like you've got blue lights and all that sort of stuff. And this was happening in the field. They were going to get the horses, and just up in the sky. And so they're like, okay, like no, they're getting quite freaked out by this. So they didn't bother. They didn't hang around too long. But yeah, that was their experience with those like I suppose they're like orbs or lights or something. And this place, where they kept the horses, because when I got together with my wife and stuff, I actually used to help get the horses in and things. So I know the place very well, and I actually work not too far away from there. Like one of my customers is not too far from there. I know the area quite well. It's in Malvern, and it's quite a freaky farm. Like at night time, it's really dark. If you catch it on when it's bad weather and stuff, and you've got to bring the horses in, it's just like the lights won't work, you know, because it's dodgy wiring. So you know, and you're trying to get these horses into their stables and everything. And you're like, oh god, you got to go across the field. Sometimes they'll be in the second field, so you have to go through and get them out. And you're like, oh, get the horses through. And yeah, so anyway, because sort of like knew the farmer quite well and everything, and they spoke to the farmer about the lights. It said, "Oh, have you ever had experience of like really weird lights going on? Because we just saw like literally like a light show going on in the sky, all these different lights switching on and off." And he was like, "Oh yeah, sometimes they followed my tractor at night." And he's a sort of bloke. He's really like just like he he wouldn't. He's proper typical like old like style farmer. Like
Hmm.
I've got too much on in my life. My farming is my life, and all that sort of stuff. I don't care anything else that's going on and all that sort of stuff. So they literally followed him behind in his tractor, and he said, "Yeah, they followed my tractor a few times before and stuff."
Whoa.
So I don't know any details on like what size and how big these things were, but you know, just following behind him while he's in his truck. Because farmers, obviously, with the daylight saving and stuff, they would work quite late when they had to, and sort of, you know, so yeah. So I mean, there's some tractors and farmers I've seen out till like 10 o'clock at night. You know,
Hmm. Hmm.
they'll go on really late, sometimes working. So yeah, I mean,
Wow. So he's so busy. He's like, I haven't got time for these
yeah. The
UFOs.
thing is, this is going back in a time. This is going back in a time when it makes me think. I mean, yeah, it could be something like UAPs or UFOs or something, but or is it drone testing? Are they doing some sort of drone testing? But the idea of like sort of, you know,
Yeah,
lights
coming up
just
different spots in the sky.
spots in the sky. So like 1 minute they're there and then appearing down here.
Yeah.
You know.
And did you say there was military bases around there or anything like
So
that?
it's yeah. So the RSRA, which was is now known as kinetic
Hmm.
radar. I mean, yeah, they're probably all listening in now.
Yeah, that's it. We've set
Yeah,
them.
yeah. So it's not as the security now is not as they don't do as much there now.
Hmm.
Basically, they came up with sort of radar systems for identifying aircraft and radar, basically communications and systems like that they installed into aircraft and stuff, so that they
Oh,
could,
okay.
yeah, and also so they could do things stealthily and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And that happened, yeah. That's sort of something. Yeah, they do all sorts of. They were doing all sorts of like military tech there and stuff. Because I remember going to school because my school that I went to, the high school, is right next to the kinetic place, and sometimes they'll be bringing out these like little tiny military tanks, just driving out, and you're just getting your bus to go home, and then you're seeing all these tiny like little sort of yeah, like APC type things,
Whoa.
coming out. So yeah, I
So,
don't know what's more stuff that if they do much there now, but
so
yeah,
possibly it was military technology, military
could be, or
practice.
yeah, but like there again, then it could be like they're someone out there might be looking over and going, oh, what's going on around here.
Hmm. Hmm. And the fact that these lights are following the farmer's tractor. I mean, why do the military need to do? They wouldn't need to do that, surely.
Yeah, unless it's like testing some sort of guidance system, but that's sort
Yeah.
of things that I mean would already have that sort of stuff,
Yeah, surely.
you
Yeah. Interesting, man.
so that was quite weird. And like I had a orb or this experience there when I was asked to go and I think feed the horses and change their coats over. It was winter time, so I had to change the coats over and stuff. So I was like going to go and give them some food. I can't remember if I gave them some food or not, but I turned up there and I just parked the car just outside because you can go around the side, or you can just park, like go up to where there's a couple of big gates, and I just parked up to there, and I went through those gates, and I could see what I thought. Oh, is that because like with all like a lot of UFO sightings and stuff like that, there's some are you know they're unexplainable, and then some are like if you don't know your night sky very well, you can get a bit confused of like, is it a planet? Like
Hmm.
Jupiter or Venus, they're quite bright in the sky. um and but I saw this like star, or what, a very bright, like it looked too bright and too big, and I was just going, okay, yeah, you're not moving at the moment, but keeping my eye on you because it doesn't seem right. So I'm like thinking I'm going to go to the horses, and then I'm like, I I think I was thinking about just going to get the coats on, and then I look up, and then this thing starts moving towards me, and I'm like, well, I can't see any flashing lights on it, so it's not a low flying plane. But I'm like thinking, please don't come any closer because you're freaking me out. And then I'm just like, nah, that's it. You're coming too close. I'm getting back in the car and I'm going because yeah, I mean it's like literally. I mean, it's not like coming up close in the sense that it was looking, that I could judge how big or size of it was, but it was magnitude wise, it was like definitely low in the sky,
Hmm.
because it was, I would say, it was probably as high as 4-story house. So that's not very.
Okay.
It's not huge.
Yeah.
Like, so quite low down, but it's quite the size of the actual light. The orb is probably um, distance. I would say it's as if someone's got a powerful lamp
Hmm.
from that from there, and the fact it was stationary and then it started slowly moving is a bit weird
Yeah, absolutely.
because I can see it here to the left, above all the barns. So there's barns there, and they got like sheep barns and the hay barns, and just above I could see it sort of there, and then it's coming over towards me, like as if it's like knows I'm thinking about it, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, no, no. So
Man.
I'm just sort of thinking, no, I've got to. I'm just getting out of here. a
Didn't
bit, a
have
bit.
any missing time or anything like that? Did you
Oh
check the
no,
watch?
no, 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 not that I know of. Like I just sort of like, I just got straight in the car, reversed back, and I could see it was there, and I could see in the back of my mirror, and then I was just like, yeah. Then it was just sort of veering off that way, but I couldn't see like the plane signaling lights,
Mhm.
um, and it it was yeah, it was low in our sky, like I said, but it was just probably, I'm trying to, it's really hard to grasp the size of
Mhm.
what of because
It's difficult when we're looking in the
yeah,
sky to judge.
because when you look at like stars and stuff and light, you give it terms of magnitude.
Hmm.
So you have different magnitudes for things, and this was probably, uh, man, it was like a car headlight, but you're talking like it's not like radiating light out, you
Hmm.
know, but it's just sort of like that,
A
like
concentrated light.
just like all, yeah. And I mean, I want to say like an orb because
Yeah,
it
yeah.
looks like it's just there held in,
Hmm.
and it's just sort of,
The fact that it's coming towards you, though. I mean,
yeah,
what could do that we know of? You know,
yeah.
there's nothing,
But
man.
it's like a controlled, you know, it's sort of going like that sort of speed.
Yeah. No sound. So it's moving very slowly, but
Yeah,
no
no
sound.
sound because like I'm there and it was still night. It was just a dark winter night, but it wasn't like there was no rain at that time. I just went to go and change the coats on the horses, and they weren't in the furthest field where they were in this, that, and they were actually waiting. I'm thinking, did I go and manage to give them a bit of food, chuck a bit of food to them?
Horses didn't eat that night. And don't
Yes,
blame you.
yes, they might not have eaten that night.
Guys,
Yeah,
sorry.
yes, it's sort of like, yeah, sorry, yeah,
I've just been
sorry
stalked by a
guys,
UFO, so I'm getting out of
yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah. I don't really want anything dodgy to happen to me.
I don't blame you, man. But I
Yeah,
think it's important so obviously you left. It's
yeah,
important that you listen to your gut, I think, in those
yeah,
situations, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah.
Because
And I think,
in the UFO world, it's like there's some people are like, these things are, love and light and stuff like that. And then
yeah,
there's the
yeah,
other
yeah,
side, these things are dark. And I think there could be a mixture of all these things going on,
yeah,
right? But I think listening to your gut, getting out there, I think
yeah,
you've done the right
yeah.
thing, man.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you know, you're saying about your gut and everything. I think that's the one thing about me is that I've got a feeling. I've got that gut feeling. I know there's something more. There's something out there. It's almost like you're always being watched. You know, like you feel like you're being watched.
Yeah.
I feel like there is that. I have that sense that there's more. There's more out there, really.
Well, this thing kind of interacted with you, from what
Yeah,
you said.
it's
Yeah.
sort of noticed that I'm on my own.
Hmm.
You know, and you know this sort of happened like so. You know, it's, you know what, we've been married 10 years. I We've been together for oh gosh.
You should know this, bro.
Yes, I should know, yeah.
You're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, like not 19, yeah, 19, yeah, no, like about 19 years. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
So I'm 38. So
Same age as me.
yeah, well, there we go.
Boom.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is the thing. I think there's a thing about like well, would you think I look 38?
No, you look younger, bro.
Oh, thank you.
I'll say you
Thank
look
you.
younger. Yeah,
Yeah, it
absolutely.
must be all that sun, that vitamin D I'm getting.
Mm.
Oh, actually, you can't tell because it's black and white.
It is kind of black and white, but you
Yeah,
still you do look very young though, man. I
yeah,
would say younger. I would say
yeah.
early 30s, late
Oh,
20s.
okay, okay.
So yeah, man.
Yeah, nice. Maybe I did get taken, and maybe I was like that lost time, and yeah. So I
That's
brought
a
back.
weird one. That's a weird one though, man. The fact that
Yeah,
these things come towards you as you sort of acknowledged it,
yeah,
it's like as you say, it's like it's watching and it's coming to. I
yeah,
mean, it'd be interesting to know what would have happened if you'd not left. I mean, I know
yeah,
it might not be good. So, as I say, you've done the right thing, but how close would it have got?
yeah, yeah. And yeah. So I just literally, yeah. It's one because I thought, I'm on my own. I'm like, it's a freaky dark ass place anyway. You know, um, it's so dark. Like the farmer, like he always said, like things would go missing all the time. People stole stuff, without him knowing, and things,
Mm.
farming equipment and things. So, but yeah, and there's been a couple of other experiences as well. So which are more recent. So that one obviously happened like probably 15 years ago or something like that. And the next one happened about 2 or 3 years ago. I was looking for the photos the other day actually because it was during the day, and it was one of those weird, when you're like looking for the photos and you're like, oh, where is it? Where's the photos? You go through all these photos and then you get trying to get to the date. I'm on like 2024. And I'm like, well, I know it was before then, like 2023 or 2022. I'm pretty sure. And then it's just like, where's the rest of the photos? It stops at like, August 24. And I'm like, what? I know they're on my other computer and stuff, but it's quite a distance, but it's one of those where I'm walking on the Malvern Hills. I'm going off like on I think it's autumn time. No, sorry, it was summer evening again. I'm going for a walk on my own, and I'm just sort of like coming up the first bit of the hill, and there's a break between trees because you've got trees on the lower bit around the hills and stuff before you get up high. And so I start to take some pictures of the view, looking over towards Worcester area and all that, and over Malvern, Worcester. And I've done that thing where, with your phone, you can take a picture, but it takes a series of loads of other pictures,
Hmm.
like quite quickly.
Yeah.
And
Called a
so
burst. Is it called a burst?
burst or something, yeah, I
Yeah.
must have had that setting on or just like press my phone for quite a while. And that obviously it wasn't until I got back, and then I was sort of going through my photos, and I was like, "Oh, what's that there?" It was quite a distance away. Like it was only the fact like I had to like zoom in on the photograph. But when you're zooming in on the photograph, it's sort of like it's pixelating a little bit, isn't it? But I ringed it with a red like editor on the paint and stuff with a pencil, just going around, and it was like a silver shaped, I suppose, um, object. It was definitely angular. It wasn't round. It was angular. It was like a triangle, or it was like a disc. Um, but it was probably the distance. I'm looking at the clouds where the clouds were. It's quite hard to judge, but I'm looking more closer over towards Worcester way, Worcester, maybe Upton way. So it is quite a way, probably 8, 12 miles, something like that, maybe. But what you see on the first picture is you see this thing like, so it's on that burst photos, And so the first picture, you sort of see it coming through down on the through the clouds, and then but the second photo, I managed to see it again because I was like looking for it. So I was like, oh, that's a bit weird. It's like up going through. So you can get
Wow.
through it, and you can see it like sort of dark. And I'm like, there's no jet that I know of that can fly that quick.
Hmm.
And then also, I didn't hear any because usually if a jet's got its like thrusters on, you would hear it. Like surely like you'll be hearing it in the sky, even
Hmm.
from quite distance away. When you've got like fighter jets and you've got the thrusters and stuff, like it can still be quite a fair distance, and you can hear that roar in the sky. You've probably heard it before
Hmm.
that, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's very loud.
And
Yeah,
so that's a really weird one. So I've always like
because
looked at that one.
that is quick. Because you know, obviously, a burst is such a quick
Yeah,
motion of
like,
pictures.
yeah,
That is super
and it's
quick.
nothing. It's you can tell it's going through the clouds and it's in the sky. It's nothing to do with the. It's not like an insect's flown
Hmm.
because it will be closer up.
Hmm.
You can definitely tell. I mean, I'll try. I'll get the photos and see if I can send it to you, and you can make your own sort of opinion of yourself then, and see what you think.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was an unusual one, really. I
Hmm.
was just sort of a bit like, oh
You
yeah,
seem to live in an area of high strangeness. I
yes,
know it's everywhere, but especially in the countryside is magical anyway. The
yeah,
British countryside.
yeah,
And it's full of legends, it's full of lore, you know, as we know in Cornwall and Devon
yeah,
and where you are, where I
yeah,
am.
yeah,
There's a lot of legends and lore and magic, you know.
yeah,
But it sounds like you've got a lot going on there, man.
yeah. I mean, because we were supposed to chat a couple of weeks ago,
Hmm.
and on that Sunday, I was just sort of like, oh right, I'm just going to. I was just looking through the window, like start because sometimes I do that. I just like see what sort of night it is. I'll look through the window and see if it's a clear night or something like that. Because I've just realised I've got this app on my phone. I've got a Google Pixel, and it's like an astronomy type, like sort of app where if you leave your phone, it does like an exposure thing, and it will for 4 minutes you leave it still on a looking up at the night sky, and it's got to be really somewhere dark, and then it will take a short video and also a photograph of the night sky, and it just brings all you can see so many stars on your phone. It's amazing,
Oh, wow.
and it will also show you like anything that's gone past. Like, so you might get a shooting star, or you might get a satellite, and you can get like a whole video clip of that. So
Oh, wow. That's
I'm
cool.
going to try and do a bit more of that and stuff. But anyway,
Yeah.
I was just looking through the because I think I sent you that message, didn't I? And I was just like, oh man, I just seen an orb, um, and so I'm looking through the window, just looking. It's really quiet, still night. Nothing really going on. I could see some bright stars. Just looking at stuff, and then like it strikes. It's weird how it's like struck midnight because I checked my phone, and then all of a sudden to the left, looking over quite low down because during the daytime I've checked of how high that was along the hills. So it's just coming over above the houses. Is Was like like I suppose a dull yellow light, but like an orb going across, just floating along, almost like just above the sort of tree line
Hmm.
houses. And this was like I would say this is again the same size magnitude of what I saw at the horses. Um, if not feeling a little bit closer.
Hmm.
So I probably, if I was to get a judge of the size for it, I'm thinking it's got to be bigger than a car wheel. It's going to, yeah, yes, yeah. It was pretty decent size, a bit bigger than a car wheel, I would say. um, and just going along there, and so that was weird because it was slowly going over the houses, and it was coming from the area where you've got the that side of the road which takes you towards the main road going to Hereford and Birchwood that I was talking about. You know where Birchwood. So my house is looking over towards the Birchwood area. So
Hmm.
that connected those roads that connect up to Suckley, and Malvern.
Hmm.
Um, and so this thing's coming over, and I'm starting to go like this because I can't, my face up against the window as best as I can because I've got those child. I can open the window, but it's got the child cables on them.
Yeah, yeah. So you
So
can't fully open it. Yeah.
fully open, yeah. So I've got it so far, and I can see it, and I'm losing it. I'm like, well, should I go around the other side of the house and go outside to try and see it? But I'm like, well, I don't really want to wake everyone up and the kids and stuff. So I did in the end, but that was a bit like weird because as soon as that happened, as soon as that was going on, there was two fighter jets flying much higher altitude, going across the other way. So something's got the.
Oh,
It
yeah,
was weird how it was like nothing was going on in the sky,
yeah.
nothing because I could tell they were fighter jets because the way they were moving, like, and they had
Hmm.
their lights, and they were going quite quick.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because quite often people will see these things and then there is military
yeah,
following them or
yeah.
nearby. Oh, okay.
So, and we don't usually get. I mean, there is a lot of military aircraft that fly, but usually that happens during the day.
Yeah. Yeah, you
Uh,
don't normally often see it at night unless there's something
yeah,
going on and
yeah.
interesting.
And the one things we do get at night time are the Chinooks,
Hmm.
because what we have round here at Herefordshire is the SAS. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, so we have a lot of they do a lot of the training
Hmm.
towards Wales direction. Um,
Interesting.
so yeah, so yeah, and I've had some weird lights I haven't been able to explain from stargazing out the back of it in the garden when I've been looking up, and I've seen them sort of. I've been following satellites because there's so many. This is the thing. One thing I found really interesting is that we went to the Birmingham. What's it called? Like, is it the think tank or something like that? I think it is like
Hmm.
it's a great place for taking kids. It's all like the science place, and we went to the observatory type thing. What's it called? The where you sit in, and it was quite good for the kids and stuff, um, and it shows you what the night sky is like, a typical Birmingham night sky, and then what happens when you get a bit more further rural, and what you're looking at, and it will show you all the stars, and then it will start showing you all the satellites, and then it'll show, and then you really get a good picture of how much garbage is up there, how
Hmm.
much rubbish is up there, like, and all the satellites. There's so many satellites now, and so yeah, I was watching the satellites going across. You could see which ones they are, and then you got Starlink. Starlink's quite obvious to see that. Um, and then there was these lights. Are you okay for time and stuff?
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah,
brother.
you
Yeah.
keep going on. Yeah, and then
Yeah,
there's like
absolutely.
lights or orbs or something which are just coming over, and um, which sort of they're quite high up in the sky, but they're not going in a particular pattern, or like they're just like almost starting to curve around, and they're going a completely different way. But there's some which are going off slightly, separate and going off in different directions, and that was uh, that was a bit weird. I was a bit
Yeah.
like, okay, that's a bit of a strange one. I have seen a lot of like sort of lights in the sky where I've seen them, and then they're slowly going up, really quite faint, and then they've just disappeared. So
Hmm.
you see them going and going and going and going and going up and up and up and up, and then they just disappeared. So there's a lot of strange things that I haven't been able to explain.
Hmm. What
So,
do you think these things are? I know it's a difficult question, but in your
yeah,
opinion,
so,
what are these? What do you think UFOs are?
so I think they're either technology that I mean, you've seen it all going on in the news at the moment. It's being
Hmm.
like sort of talked about a lot and released, and very sort of professional, and people with very high qualified um, pay jobs who are like top military, top um, pilots that would actually they've gone to like Congress, haven't they? And they've spoken about it and things, and not actually felt like they're in fear of losing their jobs now. It's
Hmm.
I think they've got past that now. They're thinking I can speak out of all the reports that we've been trying to get through without someone telling us no, you shouldn't be saying this. So whether it's technology that's being tested that has been here for some time, um, and or I think it's possible that it's like how we send satellites. It's maybe a civilization that is sending their own sort of type of satellites.
Hmm.
I don't think they're necessarily manned. I'm not sure, but you know, I think if some of these aircraft that are seen, or UFOs that are seen, if they are manned, I don't think they are as biological. Um, that's my opinion at the moment. That's where I stand. I think they are more like they are manned by something a bit um, more like a synthetic,
Hmm.
like an AI, like a sort of
Interesting.
like a
Yeah.
computer type thing.
Hmm.
Maybe that's I don't know.
Hmm.
I'm just only going by what everyone
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. I think.
sort of. It's the only way I can sort of think, people's experiences, because I can't speak for myself and I don't want to go there, to be honest with you, when people talk about the different species of aliens and all this sort of stuff. Because I'm like, no, you, if there is anything like that out there, I'm just like, you're staying away from my family.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I think
Absolutely.
you have to have some sort of self. You need some sort of privacy, don't you? You need
Hmm.
some sort of like, there has to be boundaries.
Hmm.
I think,
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
um,
Because
and so yeah,
I
but
think there could be a mixture of a lot of different things going on
yeah,
that we
yeah,
kind of put in the same box. But as you say,
mm,
the governments now are letting out information very slowly on this kind of stuff, but
yeah,
telling us, telling the mainstream, this topic that's always been pretty fringe is becoming more mainstream,
yeah,
which hopefully, which means more people will share their
yeah,
experiences, because most people have seen something strange in the sky that they can't explain.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
very rare to meet people that have never seen anything like that.
I
Our
do.
skies are pretty strange.
Yeah, I do think there's probably some of it is probably misidentified as maybe being more to do with the spectral realm, like
Hmm.
whether it's to do with the ghost realm,
Yeah.
and I sometimes don't like to use the word ghost. I just think sometimes it's best to say it's something I'm not that familiar with, um, but I do think maybe it seems to be some sort of
En-
energy
Entity.
connection there,
Yeah.
or something, um, So yeah, but like I mean, because I looked up last night about that area because I was just like my local area. What sort of strange things going? Yeah, because I mean, there is so much stuff, and like that particular place, that area, it's actually called Storage, and Birchwood and things like that. I'm probably giving so loads of information now. they're gonna come. They're gonna come and find me. They're gonna come and get me.
No, it's
Uh,
out there now. If anything happens,
yeah, yeah,
you know why.
yeah.
It won't. It
So,
won't.
yeah, no, yeah. So basically, I was looking up, and apparently, down in the dips of there is, it's known that there is like ghostly figures from about the waist up, or like is spectral, or like, I don't know how do you, like, very translucent,
Hmm.
like things shown at the bottom of the woodlands and stuff. People have the reports of that, which is a strange one because that's where, like I said, that orb had been coming from that area and all that sort of stuff. So it's a bit
Yeah.
weird that all this strangeness is going on there. And also, I've got a neighbour when I first moved in spoke about, because I was talking to him about, I'm quite interested in like high strangeness and stuff, and he said, you remember when he saw a monk, and so this is going back a few years, and he saw a monk like at night time and looked through around the corner, well, like a figure dressed like a monk, that's the
Hmm.
best description of it. And then it's gone up, and he's turned around, and it's just not there. And over in Lyson, a place just down the road, um, I've looked up online last night, and it was like, yeah, there's reports of a figure dressed as a monk that goes around.
Whoa.
Seeing
Was
that.
that at night or was that during the day?
No, nighttime, nighttime.
Oh,
Yeah.
did he say it was like a glowing or was it like a full-bodied apparition?
Full body. Yeah. From what I
Oh,
gather. Yeah. Yeah.
interesting. It
Yeah.
sounds like you live in a really cool area.
Yeah.
That would be cool to like investigate.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want all investigators to go there and disturb your town.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But it sounds very interesting, man.
Well, there is, because I was saying, when me and my brother went to go and check out this place, I did an art when I was in GCSE. I did my art project on um, the that church I was talking about over in Avonbury, which is near Bromyard. And Bromyard's really known for being a haunted area, really, really well known.
Hmm.
And it's quite a, you need to check it out on YouTube, because it's probably like one of the oldest, like, it's ruins basically. It's just literally to ruins. I mean, there's some of it is like you've still got parts of the walls and the archways and things, and where the bell tower that used to the bell used to be, but that had fallen down and things like that, I believe. And me and my brother did go there like a few years back during the day, because we were a bit like, we don't really want to go at night time because it's got a lot of graves. It's got like a bit of a brook that goes around it, and you go over a bridge to get to it. It's sort of like off a field and things like that. And we just went around the outside because it's covered in it was covered in loads of vegetation at the time, but I think they have cleared it and you've got better access. But when I did my art project, I mean, I got right up to it and I took pictures of it and things like that, because my art project was to do with like what buildings would have looked like when they were in their prime. And then
Hmm.
so I was doing like a reconstruction and a deconstruction and all this sort of thing.
Well, that's cool.
And so anyway, so we went around it, and you've got all these uh, graves there that are all sunken in, and you could get quite close to some of the tombstones are all like, they're just fallen and stuff. And one of them actually says like Baskervilles on it, which is weird. Like that name and things, it's to do. Yeah. So um, we I got like a really weird sensation going on there. Like I felt really like just out of body experience, like really dizzy,
Hmm.
and like a bit like, oh, what the hell's going on, but I just kept it quiet to myself. But I said to my brother, I said, did you feel a bit weird at all, like lightheaded, like really dizzy when you were going around? And he was like, yeah, man, yeah, because we went right round the back of it.
Yeah.
And but yeah, so apparently, yeah, there's like, apparently there's reports of hearing the scream of the woman that had died from, I think the bell had fallen on her. I think that's the history behind it. I have to look into it and research and stuff, and there's like a woman in white that goes through the grave around the grave at night and stuff, which is a bit freaky.
Yeah.
Um,
Woman in white fascinates me because that
yeah,
entity is seen everywhere. People describe
yeah,
the woman in white. It's such a like the Hat Man. It's one that
yeah,
comes up so often. I find that
yeah.
fascinating.
My mother-in-law saw one on when she was riding the horse on the old hills, because where they kept the horse. This is when she was a lot younger, but um, you can go from where the horses are kept. You can get to from that area to the old hills, and she saw this woman, like a ghostly figure woman, in like just literally like as if she had a white gown on. Was there, and the old hills is very like it's um, it's just like little small browse and things like that, and there's lots of bushes and stuff and brambles and things. So it's sort of like yeah, I can picture it. Like I can imagine it,
Hmm.
like what she would have pictured because you go up and there's bits where you got oak trees and things. Um, so yeah, I mean they're not like full on massive hills. They're just like small little like you know a rolling hill and stuff. So and she's sort of on a horse and she's seeing this thing. And there used to be over on some of the land because some of the land is owned by a big I don't know like about a state name anyway. I don't want to like
Hmm.
mention places and names,
Yeah.
Um, and but I think there was a psychiatric ward there back in the day. Yeah, and so
Interesting.
yeah, so that was and that's only not far from. You can see it from the old hills. You look at
Yeah.
it, you can see the old. I think it is like an as an old people's home now. I think maybe. I'm
Did
not
did
sure.
your mother-in-law say how it looked? Did she say it was like a solid form or?
Yeah, when I remember asking her about it and stuff, and I think she said it was almost like yeah, it was like almost like a woman in white, but I think it's like she's sort of floating there because she's wearing like a gown and stuff because it's like almost like so you can not seeing the feet or anything. So I think
Hmm.
it's just sort of like so yeah.
Whoa, interesting, man.
For
Interesting.
some reason in my head when I think about it, I don't know if it's because you watch films and movies, but you have this picture of like woman in white, just like very ghostly face and things, and then black hair. I don't know why.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's just
Yeah,
because
you
first
do.
thing that comes to your head.
You do, yeah. But so
Uh,
many people see these things all over, and I find that so
yeah, yeah,
interesting.
yeah,
Often on a roadside, people are driving, they'll drive past this woman in white, or,
yeah,
it's a very common entity for people to see.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um,
We live in a wild world, brother.
yeah, I know it's crazy, but yeah, there's some strange stuff. Like I've seen things on the internet about like the local area, and there's you know, people thought they've seen a figure come out in front, um, a ghostly figure, and they've had to slam their brakes on when driving,
Hmm. Hmm.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, um, just trying to think.
Very interesting, man.
Yeah. So anything else that's coming to mind at the moment? Um,
Well, I've absolutely loved talking to you tonight, brother.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
been
yeah,
absolutely fascinating. And I think we've done 2 hours.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
expect him.
yeah,
It's been fascinating, man. You've had some incredible experiences,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
it sounds like you live in a very interesting area where there
yeah,
seems to be a lot going on.
yeah,
Those quiet little villages,
yeah.
that's where the magic seems to happen, man.
It does, yeah, because it's just sort of like it is weird, man. It's just sort of I mean, yeah, I mean that time, I mean that time when I literally thought a UFO was coming straight towards my house. I mean, it
Yeah, it's
was really
terrifying.
because
Yeah.
I was literally going, oh my god, get the kids, we get out of here, because I was looking at and I was just literally staring at this light, and it's getting closer, and all I'm seeing it is like it's a light like that.
Hmm.
And then it's not until it comes right up towards the house that it's one of those small aircraft, silent aircraft, and it's a small aircraft, and they don't make a lot of noise.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not until when it gets to a certain angle that you can see its lights going.
Yeah.
And but the lights they have on the front are almost a bit like a headlamp, like they're a bit like um, they're sort of just they're directing light like that, and so it's almost like sort of seeing, because they have to do so much night flying.
Mm-hmm.
I think certain pilots and stuff have to do so much night flying to actually, keep their license and stuff. Um, so yeah, and he came quite low, but it got so close to the house that all I was seeing was this ginormous light, to the point that I'm like going, oh my god, because I was staring at it for ages, going, what is that? What is that? Because it's just sort of going across the sky, and I'm just seeing like very slow light like that.
Mm-hmm.
A bit like what I've described like other times, but that was other times I've described. There's the way I'm seeing, looking at the angle and everything, I'm seeing it side on.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd expect to see the tail light flashing,
Yeah.
you know.
And you
So
wasn't seeing that.
I wasn't seeing that on the other experiences I've
Mm-hmm.
had.
Yeah.
So
Interesting, man.
yeah,
Well, I want to thank you for your time tonight, brother.
no
I've
worries. I
loved
think
talking to you.
yeah, no, it's been great, and thank you for like as being a fan rather than
Oh,
being an
thank you, man.
So.
It's a
And
pleasure.
because it really helps me, because when I'm doing my work and stuff, like I'm on my own most of the time, and so it's just sort of it's good to listen to the stories and stuff, because I love listening to the people's Bigfoot experiences,
Mm-hmm.
and especially the ones over in America. I find that so interesting and
Yeah.
things. Yeah,
Oh,
it's,
thank you very much, man. Well, you're welcome back on Let's Get Freaky anytime.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And I
yeah,
really appreciate your time, brother. I need to come down to your area as well. Maybe we can
yeah,
investigate.
yeah, yeah. Definitely,
That'd
we'll
be
have to
pretty cool. Let's
catch
do
up.
it, man.
Yeah, yeah, definitely catch up, and we'll meet up or something like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely, brother. But
I
thank
think I
you.
probably will do like maybe, because I've got a trial camera and stuff.
Hmm.
I'll have to try and see if I can, see if I could get any more evidence or look into it a bit further. Do my own like little bit of investigating into the sort of
Yeah.
panthers and stuff.
And you need a night vision camera.
Night vision camera, yeah,
That would
yeah,
be pretty cool where you are by the sounds
yes,
of it. Yeah.
definitely, yeah, because you'll be able to
Oh.
see so much things that are going
Hmm.
on.
Absolutely. Look at those fields at night.
Yeah,
Hopefully you get that Black Panther shot. Oh,
yeah, yeah.
bro.
Hopefully no dodgy people.
No, they
Just
could be
like
just as scary as cryptids, to be
they
honest.
can actually, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Oh, that reminds me of something that, yeah, I remember seeing on a video actually. A personal like video. It was someone, because I've sort of keep bees,
Okay.
beekeepers stuff. So, and I used to go to like meetings. Like, you used to meet up at the pub with some of the like beekeepers and stuff. And this guy, where he worked, he wanted to show a video. He kept one of his beehives at a place of work, and he wanted to show us like footage he had of this person go into um, like well, I assume it's a person, investigate his hive at nighttime, like was going through it, which is a bit weird. Why on
Yeah.
earth you do that? So you don't see his face. He looks like a normal person, like just wearing a coat and everything, and trousers and boots. But his legs, he had like double. His every time he was walking, it was like he was like double jointed, but at the knees. So you could see it was really weird, because he had it on the security camera on his video on this. It was really clear as day. It was at
Hmm.
night time. Why on earth you would go to look at someone's hive, go through
Yeah.
it, and they're sort of going that way backwards as they're walking,
Oh,
which
whoa.
is weird. And we were like, we couldn't work it out. Like, has he got like, you would have thought if you were like that, you would go and get them fixed.
Yeah, man.
I could understand it with the one leg.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
What was he wearing? What did he look like he had on?
just full khaki clothing, like he had like a coat, and the hood was covering over his head, I think,
Yeah.
and it was just those like, yeah, all wrapped up. You couldn't really see much on him. But as soon as, like, you could see he was undoing the hive and lifted the lid, and it all came out. All the bee, you knew the bees were coming out at him, and
Yeah.
it's coming out as this is going on at night time, and going all like this, getting
Oh man.
the bees would have been pissed off,
Yeah, absolutely. That's
So
so strange. What?
in the winter, they wouldn't do that, but this happened during the summer,
Yeah.
at night time, like late at night.
Why is he looking that late at night? And why
And
is he legs
it's
doing
really,
that?
yeah, and it's really hard to see. Obviously, the security cameras picked him up. Whether an outside lights come on,
Hmm.
so he can see himself, but like if you, it just like a hive just looks like a box of crates or box. Basically, it looks like a box, so it's
Yeah.
not very appealing. It's
Yeah,
not
that's
attractive
weird. And I mean,
unless unless you're someone who wants to steal the bees. But
yeah. I mean, is
uh,
that a good idea? I don't know.
like, his leg, it was so weird. They were, I remember it. It was just like
Bending
so,
it the other way.
the other
That
way,
is
yeah,
very
from the
strange.
knee joint,
And that's quite a distinguishable walk. So
Yeah,
you think in your village, if someone walked
yeah,
like
yeah,
that, you would know who that was,
yeah.
possibly.
Every time he was stepping down, it was all going. It was like, yeah, it was really,
Whoa,
really
that's
weird.
like a skinwalker.
So yeah, yeah. Or hope like it's like yeah. I mean, just it's just like why don't you just get that fixed?
Yeah,
And surely
that
you would be
is
able to. I just don't know if you could whether there is.
that seems very strange. We need to look into that. Whether
I
you,
did, yeah, I did. I think I tried looking in, but I couldn't find anything where both appendages would do that.
whoa, that is
Um,
weird. I mean, there is footage out there of weird
yeah,
entities, whatever they are, that get caught on camera at night and they're moving in
yeah.
mysterious ways. I
But
mean, the fact,
like the other guys, they were just like he was just like, oh, the actual owner of the beehive. He was just like he just thought it was weird, like really funny. He was like he just thought, God knows why they're going through my hive, but like a
yeah,
lot of people, they don't tend to think too much of it and just sort of shrug it off, really.
yeah,
So
that's weird, man. The way the legs are weird there.
yeah, yeah. But
Strange. We live in a very strange but cool place, man.
yes, yes, yes. It's like off like it would be one of those Netflix series, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
I watched that film, by the way, the Sasquologist.
Oh, you
Um,
seen it? It's good, man.
yeah, it is good. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
I
very
enjoyed
good.
it. It's
Yeah,
very funny.
he's a cool guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's well done as well. It's really well
it
done.
is. It is.
I think you
Very
have to
good
give
movie.
a lot of credit to those independent films and
Oh,
stuff.
absolutely, man. And they're getting so much better as well.
Yes. Yeah,
There's
yeah.
no difference between a film like that and a big budget Hollywood movie now.
Yes.
And
Yeah, yeah.
you can actually, they're getting so good.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
is very good. People need to go and watch that. The
Yeah. Well,
Sasquatchologist.
yeah, I compared it to like Wes Anderson films,
Hmm. Yeah.
like the if you've seen ones like Life Aquatic and all that sort of stuff and
Hmm.
things, that's quite good. And
Well, the cameras are getting better and
yeah,
more available to. I mean, you can shoot good films on your cell phone now.
yes, yeah,
That's how good it's getting.
yeah, yeah,
So, yeah,
yeah,
people need to check that out.
yeah.
But brother, thank you so much for your
Yeah, no,
time,
thank you for your
mate. It's
time.
been a
Yeah, cheers.
pleasure. This is not the first time. Hopefully, you'll be back very soon. We can
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
more.
yeah.
Can you tell the listeners where they can find you if you want to be found? I don't know if you want to be found, but
So yeah, I'm only really on Instagram. Um, and so yeah, my Instagram is Si Happy. So that's the only place I'm sort of on at the moment.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, that's it really. Yeah.
Awesome,
Um,
man. Well, I'll
I
share
mean,
that in the show
yeah, and
description as long as you're happy for me to.
yeah, 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 it's fine. Yeah, yeah. And yeah, and yeah, maybe hopefully I might come up with some other stuff in the future.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
That'd be
I need
quite
to come
cool.
down there and we can investigate. It sounds like
Yes,
there's a lot going on there,
yes,
man. Big
and
cats, UFOs, weird
yes,
walking men,
people. Yeah,
whatever they are, skinwalkers, maybe.
yeah, yeah. Let's hope. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, I've had a weird couple of like reoccurring dreams before, but yeah, we could talk about that another time.
Hey, dreams are weird, man.
Yeah, yeah, they
Dreams
are
are weird.
weird. Yeah,
We'll get into that.
and yeah, and also my brother who was telling me a lot of stories. about haunting. Like this is more ghostly hauntings. So his experiences. So like I said, these things just start firing off in your head when we
Hmm.
start talking
Hmm.
about it. You're like,
Absolutely.
oh god,
Yeah.
yeah, that and that and that.
You get memories that come back and you think, how have I not remembered that?
Yeah.
You know, but that's just the way it is.
I mean, there's a pub up the road, and he said he used to work there and stuff, and some weird stuff was going on there when they stayed over. He would stay over there because there's like you could he used to sleep up in the flat above, but then there
Hmm.
was a room above that which was empty. Weird stuff was going on.
Oh, do you see anything? Do you have any?
It was noises. It was a rolling of a ball,
Oh,
and
okay.
like yeah, and stuff like that. And they kept hearing it, so they eventually went up there and nothing there, which is weird. So,
Pubs are very haunted places as well. I don't know
yes,
why it is. Every pub in the UK
that
and in
one,
other places is
yeah,
haunted.
yeah, that one has got weird dark history to it. I think. I think it, yeah, because it did close. I think it was a fire actually,
Hmm.
maybe. I can't remember now, but
Okay. I mean, pubs seem to carry energy because so much
yeah,
goes on in a pub. Good times, bad
yeah,
times.
yeah,
Um, yeah, man,
yeah,
fascinating stuff, brother. I'll
yeah.
have to get you back on
Yes,
and we can
definitely.
talk more, brother. But I really appreciate your time tonight, man. Thank you
Yeah,
so
no
much. It's been a
worries. Yeah,
pleasure.
thank you. Cheers. Thank you very much.
Guys, thank you so much for listening. We hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you have, please share it where you can. That is a great way to support the podcast. And we'll be back very soon for more freaky conversations. In the meantime, stay safe and keep it freaky. Bye for now. Thank you very much, brother.
Bye bye. Cheers. Thank you. Bye. I just close this.